Hello, I'm Jason Stryker with the UTO, and welcome to Arizona State University's annual Information Security Training. Like all research universities, ASU has powerful computing resources that are attractive to online criminals. And ASU personnel handle highly sensitive information every day. Keeping our resources and information safe from abuse is everyone's responsibility at ASU. The information in this brief course is designed to help you protect your computer, your personal information, and the information you're responsible for as you go about your business. This course is made up of 7 modules totaling about 20 minutes on the following topics: phishing, malware and virus protection, handling, storing, and protecting sensitive data, incident management, ASU computing policy, password management, and the Internet of Things. The course includes a mandatory quiz, which takes most people under 5 minutes. You may take the quiz immediately or later, and you may retake the course as many times in order to pass. Some topics may be familiar to you, others may be new. All are essential to our shared responsibility to keep information and resources protected at ASU. So let's get started.
If you have electronic mail, you've probably won at least one international lottery or been asked to handle a bank transfer for a long-lost, distant, or dead relative that you've never heard of. Sending email messages designed to trick you into giving up your password or personal information is called phishing. Phishing is a scam using unsolicited email and websites that pose as legitimate sites to lure unsuspecting victims into providing personal and financial information. Those lottery messages are easy to spot, but some are trickier. A phishing message may look official. It might even include the ASU logo or send you to a familiar-looking login page. When in doubt, and you should always be in doubt, remember that ASU never asks you for your password by email and will never ask you to log into a website without telling you about it through official channels first. If you get a phishing message, what you shouldn't do is just as important as what you should do. Don't click on links or buttons. Don't open attachments or images, and never reply. Instead, forward the message to infosec@asu.edu for investigation. The Information Security Office keeps a record of common phishing messages on getprotected.asu.edu/phishing. Our office takes the necessary steps to render these attempts harmless when notified. If you do open a link in a phishing message or download a suspicious file, report it to the ASU Help Desk and ask your local desk side support staff to take a look at your computer and see if it should be cleaned or re-imaged. If you've given up your password to a phishing site, change your password immediately and report it to the ASU Help Desk. If you've given up any personal information, such as credit card or bank account number, find out what to do about identity theft at getprotected.asu.edu/credit-safety. Now let's go over a few tips to help you spot a phishing message or web page. At a glance, this looks like a normal ASU page, but look at the address bar. Doesn't that look suspicious? That's not asu.edu. Here's one more example. These email messages look very similar too, don't they? Wait, let's look at the header information. Oh, look, it came from a different country. ASU doesn't have a help desk in any other country. Our help desk is right here at ASU. The lesson here is, be skeptical when you get an email message out of the blue. At ASU, you won't be asked to send your account credentials by email, and you'll seldom be asked by email to log into a website. Now you know how to identify phishing messages. Keeping these few tips in mind can help prevent you from becoming a victim of phishing. Another way to keep your data and devices safe is to use antivirus software. Take it away, Jason.
Thanks, Evelyn. Protecting information also requires protecting your computer. Viruses can slow down your computer, corrupt data so that it is unusable, and even allow someone to control your computer from far away. If your computer is infected with malicious software such as viruses, worms, or Trojans, it might also be used to disrupt someone else's research or administrative activities at ASU or anywhere around the globe. Antivirus software detects, prevents, and disarms or removes malicious software or malware. At ASU, the recommended antivirus software for Windows is Forefront Endpoint Protection for any ASU-owned computers, and we suggest Microsoft Security Essentials for home computers. The recommended antivirus software for Macintosh is Clam XAV, and for Linux it's Clam AV. For more information on these and to get them for your computer, go to getprotected.asu.edu and click on the antivirus button. For antivirus software to protect you, 3 conditions need to be true. It must be enabled regularly, and it must be set to scan your disk routinely. It must be set to provide real-time scanning of downloads and files on access. Remember, the baddies are constantly producing malicious content, and you don't want to experience their new creation the hard way. Antivirus software only helps you when it's on. So if you're unsure about where to look, check the lower right corner of your screen, typically on Windows machines, and typically on Macs there is a shield on the top menu bar. This can vary depending also on the antivirus software. So now we just reviewed phishing and antivirus, which knowing about both keeps our data and devices safe and secure. Now let's explore the topic of sensitive information with Evelyn's expertise.
At ASU, protecting personally identifiable information, or PII, is a top priority. ASU is required by law to take steps to ensure the confidentiality and security of staff, faculty, and student information. PII includes such information as Social Security numbers, credit card numbers, banking information, and other identity numbers. This information should only be stored in the centrally managed authoritative source, or what we call the system of record. Copies of PII should never be stored locally in your department or area unless needed for compliance or legislative reporting requirements. Storing local copies of this data needs to be approved by your supervisor as well as your dean or department head. Most people who work or conduct research at ASU handle some kind of sensitive information routinely. ASU's data classification standard details what information is sensitive and how to handle it and protect it. You can read this document at uto.asu.edu/policy. One of the best ways to protect sensitive data is by not storing it at all. The general rule is, if you don't need it, delete it. The Information Security Office offers tools to help locate and remove PII from your computer. For more information, please visit our Data Review and Cleanup page under the Services menu on getprotected.asu.edu. Another vital way to protect sensitive data is through encryption. It's critical to use encryption technologies for both data in motion, like sending an email, and data at rest, like a file on your laptop, desktop, or mobile device. For data in motion, use ASU encrypted services such as Encrypted Wireless, or our VPN, or Virtual Private Network, to keep people from eavesdropping on your electronic communications. And instead of sending sensitive information by email, put the document on a secure file share and send a link. For data at rest, encrypt your computer, mobile devices, and backup media. If any of these are stolen and they contain sensitive information, state law requires ASU to notify the people whose information was taken, unless the data was encrypted. For more information on encryption, please visit getprotected.asu.edu and click the Encryption button. A computer incident is a breach or compromise of information computing resources. The breach could be physical, such as a lost or stolen computer, hard drive, or smartphone. It could be network-based or computer-based, such as a virus, a website issue, or known unauthorized access to a computer with sensitive data. It's crucial to catch and report incidents early. In fact, the earlier the better. To report an incident or a suspicious event, contact the ASU Help Desk. Be sure to indicate that it's an information security concern and identify the types of sensitive data you think are at risk. The ASU Help Desk will escalate your concern as appropriate. If you suspect a virus or malware on your computer and you haven't been told to leave the computer alone, contact your desk side support representative and go through the following steps. First, unplug the computer from the network. Double-check your antivirus software to make sure it's running and up to date. Run a complete virus scan on your computer and instruct it to delete any viruses found. Lastly, reboot the computer. When in doubt, report it. It doesn't hurt to get it checked.
If you have an ASU Right ID or you use ASU's networks or computing resources on or off campus, you need to know about ACD 125. This is ASU's computing, internet, and electronic communications policy. This policy defines the boundaries of acceptable use of ASU computing and communication resources to protect the privacy and security of all ASU affiliates. Among other things, it outlines your responsibilities for protecting your accounts and passwords, managing systems appropriately, and notifying the Information Security Office of any system concerns. Take a moment today to read this policy in full at the following link. You can also find this link on Get Protected under Policies. Additionally, your department is responsible for identifying a steward for each system in its area, including websites, research equipment, and all of its systems and devices on ASU's network. These stewards are responsible for ensuring that the systems in their charge are running supported software and are applying updates and patches in a timely fashion. You also need to know if your department negotiates with or purchases third-party technology services. It is a requirement to have standard security language to exist in your contracts. Look for examples of this language on getprotected.asu.edu before you write a contract or begin an RFP. For additional information and consultation, contact Financial Services, Purchasing, or the Information Security Office. We are all here to help. Oh, and one last thing about ACD 125. It includes information about what devices can be connected to ASU's network and how. Now that you are aware of ACD 125, Evelyn is going to give you some great advice on password management.
Most ASU computing services are secured by your single sign-on or ASU Right ID and password. It's important to keep this password secure because you can be held personally responsible for what is done using your ASU Right login. Here are some basic tips on keeping your password secure. Choose a strong password or a passphrase, like a sentence or song lyric, that's easy for you to remember but hard for someone else to guess, even someone who knows you. Make sure it's long and uses at least 3 of the 4 types of characters: uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and punctuation. Your password should not contain any information about you or be a word that can be found in a dictionary. Don't use one password to rule them all, the same password for ASU that you use for other services. If one account gets compromised, your credentials can be used to gain access to all the other systems where you've used the same password. And the people who got it will use it everywhere they can. Change your password routinely. ASU requires you to change your password every 180 days. This limits the amount of time a bad guy can spend guessing or brute forcing your password. Also, change your password if advised directly by ASU's Information Security Office or your desk side support staff. In this case, your old password is probably already compromised, so change it to something completely different from before. You can change your password online at asu.edu/changepassword. This brings us to the Internet of Things. Tell us about it, Jason.
These days, nearly anything can be connected to the internet. Printers, surveillance cameras, gaming consoles, even thermostats. It's important to remember that if you can connect to your things on the net, so can other people. The baddies could change settings or access information, viewing what's on your camera or seeing what you're printing, or even use your device to attack others on the same network. If what you're printing is a sensitive research document or contains someone's personally identifiable information, or if your device is used in an attack, this is a risk to the university. You can take steps to secure your connected things, including changing the default password, allowing and using only encrypted connections, patching or updating the device routinely, disabling or restricting network access management, and of course, unplugging devices when you're not using them. Consult your product manual or ask your department's desk side support staff for information. We hope the annual information security training has been helpful.
Remember that all of these topics are easily referenced on getprotected.asu.edu.
Thanks for watching and good luck on the quiz.